Racism is expensive. It's so expensive because you guys used to have free college. Racism brought about college being the cost that it is. We could never get to free universal health care because Black people would receive it. Racism is expensive. You guys got rid of all of the free parks and pools and programs once the Civil Rights Act was passed. This was America's downfall. The Civil Rights Act. Being civil was y'all downfall.
Racism has always been expensive. It's always been expensive. It's just, they always thought that they would have the fee. They always thought they would have the fee in hell. For a good minute, they did. They had the fee to give. See, the problem is now they don't have the fee. They don't have the fee, so it's becoming a problem. And rather than stop trying to pay the fucking fee, y'all will literally kill yourselves and kill the reputation of this country, of this nation, trying to pay a fee that y'all should have been stopped paying. Okay? Y'all should have been stopped paying. When colleges went from being tuition free to tuition based in in the 1960s, that was all because y'all couldn't stop us from getting educated anymore. So you wanted to put a roadblock in there. You wanted to make it harder for us. We didn't have the capital like you guys did. So you added tuition. The reason why America doesn't have universal health care is because that means everybody would have access to it, that including people like me and you. And they don't want that. They thought that they would always have surgery money. They thought that they was always going to have outpatient care money. You understand? Private doctor money. Hell, I'm not going to an office. I can always have them come to me. That's what they thought they was always going to have.
Family, racism is getting more expensive, that even white people are noticing that its costs are more than it's worth. Many people are now crying. When you go on TikTok, you'll notice that there are many white people who are regretting voting for Trump. Many white people are saying that they've been making wrong decisions because they knew that their interests will be put in place. But right now, things are getting unbearable. The cost of living in America is very, very expensive. When we look at the healthcare system, it's getting to be more and more expensive with Medicare and Medicaid cuts. And this is affecting both Black and white people in America. Some people voted for this administration. They voted for Republicans because they knew that they'll be able to pay for some of these bills without struggling. But right now, it's becoming more and more unbearable, and the cost of racism, the cost of discrimination is just becoming too much. So family, in this video, Black people will be trying to debunk these facts. Most of them are obviously laughing. Family, I want you to watch this video till the end for you to get to understand the context so well. Once the video is done, we will get back and do a critical analysis about the same. Let's watch this video together, family.
I have watched my third video of YT people crying on this internet because they own Red Note and they've learned how expensive it is to be a racist corporation nation. That is what the U.S. is. And all these people keep saying, one girl just said she got $450,000 worth of student loan debt to become a lawyer. And it costs like $800 to go to law school a year in China. A year, y'all. So let me give y'all a little bit of a history lesson for my YT people who are just awakening to the world that Black people have told y'all has existed since they so-called let us go, right? We have told you racism is expensive. It's so expensive because you guys used to have free college. Racism brought about college being the cost that it is. We could never get to free universal health care because Black people would receive it. Racism is expensive. You guys got rid of all of the free parks and pools and programs once the Civil Rights Act was passed. This was America's downfall. The Civil Rights Act. Being civil was y'all downfall. And y'all crying on the internet for what? We told you. You had to go to China. Your citizens, your fellow citizens, fellow citizens, because you never paid attention and you never really saw us as fellow citizens. So you had to get somebody in China to tell you, this is crazy. This is ridiculous. This is unacceptable. You shouldn't accept it. You shouldn't tolerate it. No, you needed someone else to tell you. How does it feel to know your country bet on racism over everything else? Technology advancement. China looks like a futuristic movie, but it ain't the futuristic movie. It's reality. And we are in an oligarchy, right? Oligarch. And, well, not we. Because I find it so funny. A lot of these videos, all of these creators get on here talking about some we. They all speak French now. Because black people have been known this. And every time I see one of those videos, I'm commenting, black people told you this for centuries, that this was wrong, that being able to just completely control people, ignore their rights as citizens was dangerous territory. And because it wasn't happening to you, or you thought it wasn't happening to you, because I don't know, y'all ain't never been on a plane to another country to prove that America isn't the greatest nation on earth. It's just not, it's the most controlled, it's the most manipulative, it's the most marketable. I will say we're like, the U.S. is number one at marketing, which is lying, in their case, because they're not offering anything. How are you the greatest nation? You greatest at locking people up? Greatest at debt? Greatest at uneducated of your majority population? Because black women are the most educated here. Police brutality? What are y'all great at? Oh, giving money to government, military. That's what we great at. And I don't even know how great we're going to be at that. Look who they trying to get in charge of it. That ain't going to last. I say this to say, if you're watching this video at this point, do the work. Because we're not going to. We did it already. But I'm glad y'all learning that y'all already are slaves and been slaves. Now you're just slaves that know you're slaves. It reminds me of a movie called The Girl with All the Gifts. If anybody's read that book or watched the movie, the book was better. The Girl with All the Gifts really displays how it was a concept of the girl is a zombie, but she doesn't know it. It's a really good book. I recommend the book 10 out of 10 over the movie. But it's a really interesting concept because it's like this awakening people are having on Red Note. It's like that movie. Y'all didn't know you were already a slave. You were already powerless. They practiced on us. You didn't know it, but we did. So it's kind of like somebody standing next to you and being like, y'all, we zombies. Y'all, we're not really alive. Y'all, they actually holding us hostage. Because in the book, she thinks her teacher, she doesn't understand why her teacher is afraid of her. She doesn't understand it because she had no self-concept, self-awareness. That's what it is. Y'all lack self-awareness, situational awareness, because y'all like stories. You like to be told who you are. You don't like to demonstrate that, right? That's why we see all this MAGA DEI stuff, and not in a qualified way, but non-qualified way. This is what we're dealing with, y'all. And until y'all do the things y'all saw us do and demand more, good luck. Because we beat hardcore slavery. So we just don't expect what y'all expect. And y'all get over there shocked. We know it's better, because we see y'all get better. Well, we did. I don't know about it no more. But we used to see y'all get better. So we always knew, there was always more, And as someone who likes to travel, I've been blessed. I've been to Dubai. That doesn't look real either. You go to Dubai, just go to Dubai's airport. And you the U.S. is number one at what? I really don't understand. And I maybe because I haven't done my research in terms of population, it's really just our military, and that's going to catch up eventually. I'm really shocked at this point China is behind us, because I'm trying to understand how technologically they're far advanced. They're far ahead of us. But good luck with that $450,000 worth of debt, girl. That's crazy. Maybe y'all should protest, advocate, get some rights, demand something of the people who actually supposed to be representing you. Maybe y'all should. Or maybe y'all can get everything Trump promised y'all. What you think?
So racism has always been expensive. It's always been expensive. It's just they always thought that they would have the fee. They always thought they would have the fee, and hell, for a good minute they did. They had the fee to give. See, the problem is now they don't have the fee. They don't have the fee, so it's becoming a problem. And rather than stop trying to pay the fucking fee, y'all will literally kill yourselves and kill the reputation of this country, of this nation, trying to pay a fee that y'all should have been stopped paying. Okay? Y'all should have been stopped paying. When colleges went from being tuition free to tuition based in 1960s, in the 1960s, that was all because y'all couldn't stop us from getting educated anymore, so you wanted to put a roadblock in there. You wanted to make it harder for us. We didn't have the capital like you guys did, so you added tuition. The reason why America doesn't have universal health care is because that means everybody would have access to it, that including people like me and you. And they don't want that. They thought that they would always have surgery money. They thought that they was always going to have outpatient care money. You understand? Private doctor money. Hell, I'm not going to an office. I can always have them come to me. That's what they thought they was always going to have. And as they started to see that they were losing leverage, rather than stop paying the fee for racism, they said, bitch, here, take my arm, take my leg, take my organs. To the point where you guys are where you are today, still trying to pay a fee, going out of your way to pay a fee that literally is killing you. It's killing you. And then now that you're starting to realize that y'all really did fuck around a little bit too much, you want my pretty black ass to get up out of my seat to come and fight for you? Oh, you're fucking stupid. Oh, you're beyond stupid. You're beyond my pretty self. You see me? Y'all see my brothers and sisters? They fine too. We supposed to get up out of our seats? Up out of our beds? And I heard a white woman literally said, black people, stay where you are. I would never take no advice from white people unless it was on how to be selfish, because that's the only thing that I think that they can give. However, this white lady said, do not get up out of your seats. You want to know why? They want us to get out and be in the streets so that now they can plot to kill us. Us doing exactly what we're doing. Like, this is why they so hot. This is why they 50 degrees. Like, they hot because they wanted us to come out there so that we could be fucking sitting ducks. Especially considering they done seen how fucking expensive racism is now. But it's always been like that. Y'all just didn't care because y'all had the fee.
Racism is expensive. And I think this is a lesson that people are slowly but surely starting to learn, because we have entered the point of fuck around and find out. So for people that aren't aware, Nebraska is going bankrupt. They are bankrupt because, well, all the immigrants are gone, and it's not like the white people there are running the farms by themselves, because let's be real here. When have white farm owners ever done the work by themselves? Regardless, now they're asking that orange bitch that is on the verge of death to bail them out. Which is so funny, because bailing people out, bailing a state out is such a socialist thing to do. That is socialism, babe. But no, we don't like socialists here, right? We don't like that. We don't like socialists. But now you need that socialist type of behavior, a socialist type of policy to help your ass. When you fuck around, you find out. All these people that are now losing their health care, their jobs, and now they're saying like, I didn't think this was going to happen. And a lot of it too is because a lot of people, I've realized that a lot of far right people are not aware that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act are the same thing. They think they're different. So they hate Obamacare, of course, because it's Obama's name in it. But they love the Affordable Care Act. Well, it's gone because it's the same fucking thing, babe. And it's interesting. And it's so crazy that, too, they're also not aware of the fact that sometimes the Affordable Care Act, the Obamacare is just named under a different, it just has a different name in certain states. So you may think, oh, well, it's not my health care that's going to get taken away. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is your food stamps that are going to get taken away. It is your EBT, your SNAP benefits, all of that TNA assistance, all of that shit is getting taken away from you. And what I especially do not understand is white poor people. White poor people. I really, I don't know if y'all even watch this because, you probably haven't listened this long enough because you guys don't actually like to listen to the truth. But y'all need to wake the fuck up. Like, babe, you are still supporting a billionaire man. That billionaire has, every billionaire in the United States combined all together could literally completely eradicate homelessness in this country. They are part of the reason as to why you are so poor. They are using you as a pawn in the rich white man's game, not the poor white man's game, because there is no poor white man's game that could ever be won because you do not actually have the power nor the influence that you may think you have. They trick you and they brainwash you into hating the black person next door, the trans kid across the street, the immigrant next door who's actually doing more work than you've ever done. And they are training you to hate these people when they are the real enemy. Even former presidents have commented on this and are aware. This has been a tactic in the Republican game for decades. For decades. All that FEMA assistance from Texas that didn't show up. The help that didn't show up. These are the same people that you voted for that are fucking you over time and time again. And you're just sitting there letting them and taking it like a little bitch because that's not the real issue for you. The real issue is the hatred that you have. You let hate and your hatred for other people, for minorities especially, take such a precedent in your life that you literally cannot even sit back and think that I am just as fucked as they are. That they do not give a fuck about me either. And granted, sure, obviously there is still white privilege. And there are still certain things that, may happen to a minority that may not happen to you. But when they're done with us, who do you think they're going to come for? They're going to come for the poor white people. You're not excluded from this. They see you as trailer park trash. You are white trash to them. They do not give a fuck about you. They have proven that time and time again. They want to take away your health care. All that federal funding that you get while you guys are also so busy sitting here hating on California, even though California has literally, the GDP of California alone is bigger than 90% of any other country in the world. You do understand that, right? You need California. You need our money. And you're going to sit here and hate? How about you redirect that attention and focus and put that on to the people that are in office right now? You are voting for you voted for a convicted pedophile who associates himself with drunks, pedophiles. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like, at what point, how many times do you have to be fucked in the ass for you to realize that you are actually being fucked in the ass? I don't get it. At some point, it's amazing to me that class consciousness has not happened yet. It really is because, babe, they don't fucking like you. Wake the fuck up and realize that. They use you when it's convenient. And notice, as soon as they get the chance to fuck you over, they do. But you hate socialism. You hate liberalism, all these other things where people actually do try to take you into account. Everything that's being cut, especially you people in the southern states like Mississippi, Alabama, y'all are some of the brokest motherfuckers in the country. You need the federal funding more than anybody. You need the help. But you voted against your own fucking interests? Like, make it fucking make sense, because it doesn't. Why do you think college in the United States is so fucking expensive? Because they didn't want black and brown and Asian kids to go to school. So then they created the idea of tuition, and now tuition is absolutely ridiculous. America has tuition like no other country in the world. And guess who that also impacts as a result, as an effect of us being impacted, of minorities being impacted? You. Poor white people can't afford to go to college. That's part because they were trying to be racist to us, but you also got dragged down into that shit. But at the same time, you're against DEI. You're against all these policies that try to make college more affordable. You're against student loans being erased. Make it make fucking sense. Racism and hatred is expensive. And y'all do not have the financial standings or the socioeconomic status to be expensive. Wake the fuck up.
Yo, I just saw this dude from basically the news channel about stocks exchange maybe a couple months ago talking about how he's all for tariffs. And he's on the internet, on Fox, crying, screaming about how Trump don't know what he's doing when it comes to these tariffs. I am just like in awe of this FAFO movement. Like, this is turning out better than any movie I could have expected. Because, like, my hope was that he would be incompetent so that it would just make it plain that racism is expensive. And he's made it so expensive within 2.5 months. I couldn't have dreamed this up. Like, there's no script we could have written that would show you how colossal of a mess up. And this is what happens when you hire based upon skin color and not competence, and based upon gender and not competence, because he is uneducated, he is undisciplined, and he's not a leader. We have our soldiers not being greeted after they gave the only sacrifice that you can give that you can't give again, which is their lives, to train to support this nation. And he was golfing with foreigners, like people not even from here. He had time for, but not the people who were training to support Lithuania had time to stand up and greet the soldiers, but not their commander in chief. That's number one. He's destroying the economy. Destroying it on purpose. All of these corporations who voted for him, all these influencers who voted for him, who hyped him up, losing millions, 27 million, 20 million here. They really thought that this was only for them. And then we have the Supreme Court stepping in. What do you say? Not for democracy. Stepping in to keep a man in prison in an El Salvador prison that they all know he has no business being in. Y'all great? Racism is great. I'm not seeing it be great for you. But this, and I will end this with this. This tells me everything about this moment, that 80% of the Confederacy that went and died for the Confederacy didn't own slaves. That's MAGA. These are your grandkids. MAGA is the grandkids of the Confederacy soldiers who were willing to die for things they could not have, for an idea that someone told them belonged to them. And that's what MAGA is doing to everyone. Racism is expensive. It will never not be expensive until y'all decide it's not worth it.
Racism is expensive. It costs money. It costs lives. It costs empathy and humanity. And that's what we're seeing now. We are seeing a regime that is perpetuating racism, and it is costing lives. And I think there is no clearer example than yesterday when 9 government agencies were dispatched to Los Angeles to try to round up a horde of what they said was MS-13 immigrants, violent people, in the middle of a neighborhood at a park, when there are still people missing based on the floods from Texas. Racism is expensive. Can you imagine the millions of dollars it costs to put on this show of force in Los Angeles, in a blue state, in a blue city, while there are people that are still looking for their loved ones? And it's not red and blue, it's racism. It is extremely expensive, not just in capital, but in casualties. When you build an entire budget around ensuring that you are stripping the humanity from the citizens of the country that you're supposed to represent and emboldening racism, hatred, bigotry, you are funding G-side. You're funding it through Alligator Auschwitz, through ensuring that ICE has $170 million. That's a lot. It's more than several countries' military budgets combined. Racism is expensive. At some point, we have to decide that it is not okay to pay the price. Okay to pay the price in capital, and not okay to pay the price in casualties.
Family, I knew that a day like this would come where the cost of racism would become unbearable. Family, many people actually voted for Trump because he's always had racist ideologies. And many white folks voted for him because they knew that their interests as white people will be put in place. But family, with time, we are getting to see how racism is costing white America, and the cost is very, very high, which doesn't even give them the worthiness of racism. Family, when you look at the history of America, you'll notice that college was free in the previous years until 1960s, where now they started introducing tuition fees to the college, and that has become very, very expensive as years are going by. When we talk about the universal healthcare, family, these should be free. But now that even the black people are benefiting from the universal healthcare, they sorted, to put a price on it. And right now, the price tags are affecting everyone. Right now, we are seeing cuts in the Medicare and Medicaid. We are seeing elderly people being kicked out of their nursing homes. And the prices that people should be paying for these services without the Medicaid is very, very high. Imagine paying between $8,000 to $10,000 per month, just to ensure that your grandfather or your dad, is safe and is being taken care of in these very nursing homes. Americans have worked so hard, paid their taxes over the years, only for the government right now to cut on these projects, like these fundings, like the Medicare and the Medicaid. Family, this shows us how expensive racism can be. This is now affecting every American. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It doesn't matter, your roots. Everyone is now paying for the very same costs. And this is affecting people very, very much. And you're seeing more white people crying on the internet. Let's talk about white farms being left, and these immigrants running back to their country. This is also a heavy cost on racism. Family, it's becoming very, very tough for white Americans, especially the farmers, because right now they do not have the workforce they usually had a few months ago. Look at Nebraska right now. It's running bankrupt. The policies that are put by the very administration that was voted by the white people who thought their interests would be put in place are being neglected. Family, right now we are seeing a lot of taxes in these farmers, and it's becoming unbearable for them too. So far, I went further, and this is what I found out, even from the speeches of the people in the video. People are saying that racism is so expensive. Whites had free college, but racism has made college the cost that it is today. Family, from the 1960s, people had to pay for the college fees, and it's going high each and every day. They thought they'd be able, to pay for these same costs without any heaviness. But right now it's becoming more and more expensive as days goes by. Slowly, white families are lacking the very same fees they thought they would have, you know. And the college fees only started because the only idea was to keep, or rather to stop black education. You know, they did not want the black man to be enlightened. That's why in the 1960s they thought of, wow, what could be a way that would stop these same people to stop learning, to stop getting this education. Then they sit down and say, let us introduce these college fees. They won't be able to sustain it. They won't be able to pay for the college fees. And that's where they messed up. Because right now, even white Americans are being affected with the same thing. This is the heavy cost of racism. Everyone is being affected, no matter your white privilege. You know, if you do not have the funds to pay for that college, your kid will be out of school. You know, they thought that if they whitewash education, they shall have manipulated the minds of black people. But funny enough, they noticed that the enlightenment that comes with education can also make them brighter, even if the systems are whitewashed. So they saw that they should introduce a fee that I call the cost of racism in this case, that is now affecting everyone in America. Family, when we talk about the universal healthcare, you know, and how now it started to be paid for, they thought they will always have surgery money. The white people in this case, you know, this is the heavy cost of racism. They thought they'd always have, you know, the surgery money. They'll not depend on any covers. They'll be able to pay from their pockets. They go deep and deep in their pockets and always fund, you know, these surgeries. You know, these are diseases that people cannot be in control of. So many a times it's better to have care. But for them, they thought they can always pay from their pocket. They thought they can fund their surgeries. They thought they'll always have outpatient care money. They thought they'll have the private doctor money, you know. And this is the fee that has always kept racism going. And right now, it's becoming unbearable, fam. It's becoming more and more difficult to fund all this stuff, funding an outpatient, ensuring that you have a private doctor. You know, it's becoming so expensive and it's becoming unbearable. And fam, these are the costs of being a racist. And it's very expensive. Right now, people are seeing it's not even worth to be a racist. And soon, the systems will start aligning. Because this rod is hitting everyone, irrespective of where you came from originally, irrespective of the color of your skin, irrespective of the ideologies you support. Everyone has to go deep into their pockets, and it is affecting everyone. That will now racism will slowly lose its meaning, because when everything is equal, you do not have any privileges, you do not feel in any way superior, you cannot be racist to somebody else. Racism will slowly align, you know, and it will end. Family, this is modern day slavery. And I'd say without fear of contradiction that now white supremacists are slowly becoming slaves to themselves. Because if you have to incur more and more costs because you want to push your racist ideologies, you're becoming a slave to racism. It's affecting you mentally slowly. It's affecting you financially. You know, you're slowly losing it. And that is what is happening right now in America. That is the sad reality that is happening right now in America. Black people told whites for centuries that this was wrong. We've been crying for many years, for decades. People have been saying enough is enough. Let's stop this racist thing. But right now that the costs are more and more expensive, believe you me, guys, the price that comes with racism will make it end soon and very soon. Because in the modern day, you cannot push racist ideologies without having to put up money. Because even with the privileges that white people get, right now without money, it doesn't make sense. There is a price to discrimination. There is a price to any form of bias and prejudice, you know? Whites are slowly becoming slave to the very cost of racism. Nebraska is going bankrupt because immigrants are leaving. People are losing their health care. Talk of Medicare and Medicaid. People are losing their jobs. White supremacists, the billionaires, trick white people. They brainwash white people to hate the black person next door, the immigrant next door, while they are the real enemy. This has always been a Republican tactic. And family, right now, people are slowly getting to realize that they've been played over the years, that they've been pushing a system that would eventually work against them, a system that will eventually eat them. And that has always been the Republican tactic, to try and push white people away from blackness, to try and push white people away from people who actually would support them. Look at the Nebraska farmers right now. Look at white farmers in general. Look at what the white man has to pay right now after the Medicaid cuts. Look at what the white man has to pay for education. The cost of racism is actually very, very expensive. And family, you can tell from this video today, you can learn from this video today that this is something that should end very, very soon. And I believe that if there will be fees to push racist ideologies in America, soon racism will end, because you'll have to pay for you to have the privileges, and nobody wants to go deep into their pockets for their hard-earned money to push something that is not worthy at the end of the day. Family, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about this video. Let me know if whatever the black folks in the video are saying is actually true. Kindly like the video so that it can be recommended to other YouTube users, and I'd be very, very grateful. Fam, I'd also in a special way request you all to take your time and subscribe to the channel. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and fam, we can never achieve this milestone if you all don't take your time to share our video, subscribe to the channel, and always leave a comment, in the comment section. The goal of this channel has always been to talk about black stories, black history, talk about black empowerment, and ensure that we tell black stories the black way. Because if we give the supremacists an opportunity to tell our stories, many a times our stories are distorted and they are whitewashed. History has it that has happened before. And the goal of the channel is to ensure that now we change that. Thank you guys, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.